Okay, thank you. And I think that's a good direction to go. So in preparation for the budget discussions, I looked at one really terrific graph that I know staff brings out to community engagement. And that's kind of shows how our pie of spending is broken out. And I compared that to, I look back at 2016 for interest to see how we've changed and how we allocate resources. So many things haven't changed at all. For example, like protective services, which are essentially police and fire, still take up 20% of our budget. The same percent exactly that they took in 2016. There is one glaring change, and that's housing, social, and health services. 2016, that took up 27% of our budget. Now it takes 33%, a third of our budget is spent on housing, social, and health services. These are areas, I think we're all aware of it intrinsically. We feel it, we talk about it all the time. How cities are being forced to deal with other than roads and fire and police and sewers, et cetera. We now have this added layer of healthcare. I looked at, well, how's the funding matching that? In the next 4 years, we see the funding expected from higher levels of government to actually decrease 1% a year, as opposed to our property tax, which is going up over those remaining years. As a share of our funding, the higher levels of government are falling behind. At some point, we have to say enough is enough. And I think this is the start of that. So thank you to the mayor for looking at saying, you know, there's only so much the taxpayers of London can do. We recognize the challenge. We want to do as much as we can to do it, but people are having challenges with affordability on their own, paying for gas and groceries. So I'm supportive of this if we can find the funding from where I believe it should come from. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. So through you, I'm absolutely going to support the mayor's amendment here, and I'm going to be really clear. Without this amendment, I would have been an absolute no on C. Because the time has come to draw a line. The buck has to stop somewhere. We cannot continue, as Councillor Lehman outlined, to lay everything on the feet of property taxes. And I want to say, I really appreciate, I want to be really clear, this is not about our local MP. I think MP Fragiscatos has done a really great job of being an advocate for us locally and in his role as Associate Housing Minister on a number of projects that a number of funding pots have opened up for us to do water, wastewater, to unlock housing lands, to do all kinds of things that unlock housing opportunities. But the housing and homelessness crisis we have was not caused by municipalities. It was caused by bad decisions of former federal and provincial governments over the last couple of decades. And folks can agree or disagree with me as much as they want, but the closure of the psychiatric hospitals, the safe supply program and the problems that have been had there, this was stated to the federal cabinet this summer. The current federal immigration policies are bringing in 100 newcomers an hour, and the housing starts in this country in that same hour are 24. There is no way in the world that math works. These are the policy failures that have led to tremendous pressure on rental stock, on housing, that have forced people who were in housing out into homelessness situations because the market has become so crazy in terms of staying in a rental that they can't manage it. They get outbid by the pressures of a growing population. These problems have been the direct result of policies of other levels of government, and they need to step up and start funding some of these. If this had been the original Part C, I would have been a no. And if they don't fund it when this comes back, I'm still going to be a no. It's time they deliver. They announced this encampment funding back in June. It's the end of October. And we haven't seen a nickel of it, and neither has any other city in this country. That is shameful. And we need better from our senior levels of government. So I'm absolutely going to support the mayor going and lobbying for this, because it's time that they started carrying their fair share of the load.